Let's now move on to main topic number 4. Rob, what is our fourth main topic today?
Well, John, this comes from Hoang Lee, who says, "Greetings, John and Rob. So it looks like Fast 9 didn't become the first $100 million opener that some people thought that it would be, but it still hit a new post-pandemic high of 70 million, which is the strongest sign the theaters are continuing their return to normal. Should Universal be happy with this result? Thanks." Well, look, John, obviously this franchise has had highs of $1.5 billion. And but this is the it's the 10th film in the franchise if you want to include Hobbs and Shaw, and you should. How many movie franchises go 10 films and make this much money out of the gate? I think they already made 300 million worldwide before it even opened here in the States. I think this is a pretty big win. It is continuing the uptick of movies at the theater. We're getting more and more people coming in. Obviously, we're still not open 100%. There's a lot of places that still have restrictions. We're lucky that in New York and LA we don't. But I think this is a very good sign that people still want to go to the movies. And they are going to the movies, and it's making a lot of money. Is it disappointing for Universal? Look, all movies are disappointing for companies because movie companies want their movies to gross even more than they did. I'm sure the $2 billion gross of Force Awakens still disappoints Disney, even though it shouldn't. But I mean, so maybe Universal could be a little bit disappointed. But look, this is the biggest opening in 17 months, 18 months if you go all the way back to Rise of Skywalker. And I would say this is a good thing. You know, this is a great bellwether. It's a great indicator that movies are back. And I just want to say that Box Office Mojo says the summer block collective breath. After more than a year of delays, Universal's latest entry into the money-minting Fast and Furious cycle, F9, the Fast Saga, burned rubber out of the gate with a massive 70 million domestic debut. The opening not only left all previous pandemic-era box office records in the dust, but it also marked the biggest North American bow since 2019, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And I think, look, I don't think anybody would be disappointed with this gross in the era we're in right now. At any other time, probably would they wanted 150 million plus? Sure. But for today, I'd say not bad.
Well, and you know what? You got to also look, I would put this in perspective. Number one, you cannot gloss over that last little fact there that you just read from Box Office Mojo. This is the biggest opening weekend box office since 2019. This is the biggest box office opening since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And even though, if it wasn't for the pandemic that we're, in the recovery phase of now, would it have done a little bit better? Probably a little bit better, but not much. Rob, let's just go back to the last Fast and the Furious movie, Fast 8. That movie didn't make 150 million opening weekend. That movie made 98 million opening weekend. So really, when you all things considered, with the fact that we really haven't had a movie industry for a year, when you consider the fact that, honestly, the Fast series is a series that's in decline. I think most people acknowledge that, Fast 8 was a bit of a downtick. And of course, that result that also showed in the money they did or did not make. So that's all part of it there too. But you consider all that. The fact that Fast 8 was going on a bit of a downtick. It opened at $98 million. We haven't had a movie open bigger in over a year since The Rise of Skywalker. We're still in the pandemic recovery stage. You're coming off Fast 8, and this one is a terrible movie. But dear heavens, 70 million is nothing but a big win. This is a huge win. Absolutely, Universal should be thrilled with this at this point. And it's exciting because even though I didn't like this movie, I love that seeing the people were flying out to the theaters to go see it. Now, we'll see how big of a drop it takes in its second weekend. I'm predicting probably rather large. But it is awesome to see people flooding out to the theaters because this is a big screen kind of event, kind of movie. And they were going. And Rob, again, it just goes back to when we were talking about the results of Godzilla versus Kong versus, how well did Godzilla versus Kong really do? And you and I would put it into perspective and say, just look at Godzilla King of the Monsters. Godzilla versus Kong is basically doing the same numbers as Godzilla King of the Monsters. And Godzilla King of the Monsters wasn't in a pandemic. So that's pretty damn good. And I think this is a terrific result for this. I really do. Now, I also think Fast 10 is going to get made, and it will take another decrease. This movie, Fast 9, won't make as much as like Fast 8 for all the reasons we talked about. I mean, there's still a lot of pandemic issues going on. It's not going to make 1.2 billion worldwide like Fast 8 did. But again, when you put it all into perspective, I mean, 70 million opening weekend when nothing else has come close since the pandemic broke out. I just don't see any other way how to mark this up other than an absolute, complete, unmitigated win for Universal. And I think they should be popping bottles right now. I really do. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this opening for Fast 9? 70 million is the biggest opening weekend since Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and it's only about 18 million behind what Fast 8 opened with that didn't have to deal with a recovering movie theater system and a pandemic. I think it's a win. How do you guys see it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.